All right, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, citizens of YouTube. This is Pastor Dow. You ask, I'm going to go ahead and give it to you, all right? Handguns, no matter what they are, no matter what they may be, there's hundreds of them out there. It still comes down to, and it's all narrowed down to your personal preference and what you are comfortable with. People can make all kinds of suggestions. People ask me all the time, Pastor Dow, what handgun do you think I ought to get? And I said that all depends. And of course, when people come to visit us, and if they're interested in handgun training, and sometime if I'm available, I spend time with them and I give them a quick class, whether it be it about ammunition or be it about handguns. And what I'll do is, of course, you always remember the 3 rules of safety by Pastor Dow. Number 1, weapons always loaded. Number 2, weapons always loaded. Number 3, weapons always loaded. Well, when you get to the other parts, after you get finished knowing weapon safety rule number 1, 2, and 3, hallelujah, because too many times, more often than not, people get injured, if not killed. How many times you've seen on YouTube and stuff, people go to the range or whatever, and sometimes they like terming stuff as an accidental discharge. And people die. They just die horrific deaths, out having fun, or either training someone. But it's all about personal preference. And of course, they now I'm getting a lot of questions about what's the preference in Glocks as far as the 9mm goes. I mean, the Glocks, they have a whole assembly line of weapons you can choose from. Some of the ones that we have, probably more than anything, is probably a Glock 19. And then, of course, there's the Glock 34, then there's the Glock 43, and all of them are 9mm. But I tell you, when you're looking for versatility, if you're looking for a firearm that will fit the majority of the people's hands pretty comfortably, and not only that, but give you a lot of ammo to be able to fire with. And as far as concealment goes, it's hard to beat the Glock 19. It really, truly is. It's hard to beat it. What's more comfortable in my hand? Probably the Glock 34 or the Glock 40, which is the Gen 22, Glock 22 Generation 4. But I tell you, the Glock 19 is probably hands down a weapon, both male and female, is just simply hard to beat. It really, truly is. The reliability is there. Functionability there, it's all there. It really truly is. But then again, it's your own personal preference. For instance, my personal preference, really, even though I carry different weapons, depends on where I go. I change depending on the environment I'm going in, and wherever I'm going. For instance, if I go to a big city, believe it or not, I usually carry my 45. I have a Kimber 45 ACP. I usually carry that. If I'm going to be in a big city, if I'm going to be on the outskirts of a city, I usually have my Glock 19, or the majority of times Glock 19. Today, I just happen to be carrying a Glock 43, but I always carry an extra magazine when I carry the Glock 43, and I always have a couple on standby anyway. I'm really getting in the habit of actually carrying two guns on me at once. Is that for paranoia reason? No, because I can comprehend and clearly see, and you see it as well, that we live in a total different generation, a total different world, and a total different environment. I have enough sense to know that people out here have not got it, that they need to protect themselves. And the only time that protecting themselves is going to be very important is when they find themselves in a situation, an uncomfortable situation, where they wish that there was either, number 1, a law enforcement official around to be able to protect them, and that's a deception because they're not designed to protect you. You are designed to protect you. Or number 2, they find themselves in a situation where somebody is spraying bullets all over the place, and then all of a sudden there comes a hero of a concealed weapons carrier or someone who's carrying a weapon to eliminate or destroy the target and stop the threat. And then, of course, the thanks come on, and everybody wants to praise and hallelujah and all that other stuff. And it depends on what state you're in. Tennessee and Kentucky is a little bit different. You kill a bad guy, usually the cops and the whole judicial system don't bother you much. But I tell you what, you get into some of these other communist states and stuff, you better make sure you got a good legal team. And I use, I have actually what I call weapons insurance, weapons insurance, or backup. And the reason being is because I'm out a lot. So I'm going to go ahead and put a plug in, and maybe Tim Smith and them would actually send a couple of shout outs over my way and stuff. But I tell you what, I've been a member of this for about 3 or 4 years now, the USCCA. USCCA, and if you go to USCCA, what this is this is instructions, this is protection, depending on what level that you want. And I'm not making this video for this because I get no kickbacks for them. I'm just showing you how that I'm a very responsible weapons holder, and I pay a fee every single year, because again, I'm probably travel more than anybody on the community, and I never know when I'm going to be in a situation. And I am actually, believe it or not, a Platinum Plus member. And this is to be able to have a legal team right at the tip of your fingers if something goes down, where you can be protected. And of course, in America, as communist as we behave ourselves and stuff, you're probably going to want to look into something like that. And like I said, it got different levels. It depends on which one you want for yourself. But I actually have that. And I'm not saying you have to actually get that, but that's just something I do for insurance, because I have to do things a little bit more different than anybody else, because I have to protect myself a whole lot more, as well as the community, because I know that there are spiritual entities that's also trying to want to, take out old Pastor Dow, but that's all right. But, nobody ever really truly needs protection until it's not available. And then all of a sudden they wish they had it. So no matter what somebody tells you, a weapon is personal preference. It all depends on what you choose, but you need to actually get a hold of someone who has quite a few firearms, and then you need to actually go out and shoot them to see how you respond and to see how you react towards the recoil of that particular weapon in itself. You can take the advice on someone if you want to, but I always found out that either there's be some modifications that need to be made with the weapon itself, or the weapon is too powerful for people, or it's just not enough, or they're comfortable enough. A 9mm is a perfect round for not only everyday carry, but it's also the perfect round for a world without rule of law, WROL, or zombie attack, because you have plenty of firepower there at your hand. And think about this: the majority of handgun fights, you don't sit there and take a handgun and try to practice at 50 and 70 and 100 yards trying to hit a target with it. The majority of handgun fights usually, believe it or not, all take place within 10 feet or less. And so you should get a little bit more proficient in that. And this is a big area right here. And this is the reason why you may want to consider a rimfire gun that you can also convert and modify over to a 22, if you can find one like that. But, the 9mm rounds are pretty reasonable today. And of course, if there's another so-called quote-unquote terrorist attack, it'll go through the roof again. But the ideal is you want to be able to learn how to shoot a pistol with both eyes open. What is the purpose of that? Well, one is so that you can actually train your eye to be able to look through the rear sights and the front sight, and then the other eye, you don't take away from your field of vision. You don't take away from your peripheral vision. So if there are threats on the side, because if you close one eye, if you just do this practice right here for a second, look at how much field of vision you have lost. But if you got both eyes open, now look how much you just gained. And you can train yourself to be able to look down the barrel and aim, as well as keep on the lookout for any more bad guys. Now, if you don't want to do all that, there's another level to go to, except it's going to cost you a little bit more money. And that is, you need to go out and get on the range and buy a real good laser level, because the laser level is just point and shoot. And it's all about timing. It's all about timing when you're in a hostile situation. So anyway, I hope I said something that would educate you, some way, shape, fashion, or form. And I hope that this video was informative, and that it actually would give you something to think about. Also, you may want to consider, it's a real good organization, but you may want to consider USCCA. Tim Smith is the president there, the CEO. I think they do a real good job. and they have all type of offers of different video training and everything else. It's a pretty good job, I mean, that they do. I don't need it because I'm a veteran, you know, paratrooper in the military. I've been to the range more times I can count. Done had so many rounds going down range, it's just ridiculous, but it could be for some of you. Y'all have a wonderful day, and thank you for asking the question, because it could help someone.